Thanks for tuning in to the Ohio Afterschool Network podcast, bringing the power of the network right to your ears. The Ohio Afterschool Network is a convener, a connector, a collective voice, and a catalyst for change in the out-of-school time field. The Ohio Afterschool Network leverages our global and national partnerships for you, our supporters and members, and brings ideas, funding, and resources back to Ohio. OAN is the real deal, and that's the power of the network. To find out more about OAN, please visit oanohio.org. Hey everybody, it's Nichelle from the Ohio Afterschool Network. Thanks for listening today to the podcast, the very first podcast of the Ohio Afterschool Network. Very excited. Today on the show, we are super lucky to have the Partnerships Director of Inclusive Communities, Catherine "Cat" King, and Education and Training Specialist, Viviana Hernandez St. Louis from Kids Included Together, or KIT. Kat and Viviana will be talking about inclusive practices from four youth-serving programs, and we're going to find out everything that we need to know about KIT, including getting a bit of a sneak peek on the upcoming OAN Statewide Conference for Afterschool and Summer Learning Professionals. We call that Best Foot Forward, or BFF. BFF 2020 will be held in beautiful Dublin, Ohio on February 20th and 21st at the OCLC Conference Center, right off of 270 and 33 up in the northeast portion of Columbus. So registration is now open, and you can register at oanohio.org. And if you want more information on the conference, including who's going to be there and what's happening, you can also follow OAN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ohio Afterschool, or subscribe to our newsletter at oanohio.org. Okay, well, let's get started. Kat and Viviana, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is our very first ever podcast, so we are just starting with the best, KIT. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. So let's go ahead and dig in. What's the story of Kids Included Together? How did KIT get started?
Sure. So Kids Included Together was founded by a mom who knew what it really felt like to be excluded because her daughter had a disability. And this began in San Diego, California in 1997 at the Jewish Community Center. And there was a pilot program one summer, and the pilot was so successful that really, truly everyone recognized that inclusion needed to be everywhere. So fast forward to now, we have been supporting professionals in 48 states, 14 countries, and over 100,000 people have been trained on inclusion. So it's pretty exciting.
Wow, that's awesome. Ladies, can you help us a little bit for our listeners who maybe are new to inclusion, maybe have never even heard the term before? How do you explain inclusion, what inclusive practices are, and why we need them as after-school, summer learning, or youth development professionals?
Sure. So we've definitely seen a trend over the last few years with that term inclusion. And inclusion is definitely an umbrella term. So what KIT specifically focuses on is disability inclusion, and that achieving of true social membership, being a welcomed and valued part of whatever community that person would like to be a part of. So if a youth and their family want to be part of an after-school community, that they are welcomed and that they have whatever accommodations and supports are needed to be successful and to feel 100% included, even if perhaps they don't participate 100% the same way.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about disabilities, when we talk about disability inclusion, and we speak specifically to the disability part, we're talking about a wide-ranging gamut of abilities of kids. Am I right?
Right, exactly. And also what that looks like can range. Many times you have youth that have additional needs that don't have a specific diagnosis, but need additional support because of trauma in their background, or because they have social emotional needs that just require additional support. And this can range from a mobility issue, a cognitive disability. It could be a wide range of things. But what we love to see is an after-school program come from a place of curiosity, come from a mindset of yes, and being receptive to figuring out how to make it work. Because we have seen communities are stronger when there's diversity, and when diversity and regardless of what dimension, that they're embraced,
right,
as opposed to being excluded.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I think that in our world today, that I think many more after-school programs seek ways to include those types of populations in their program. And so I think your message and your supports are really timely. Just a quick question. This is really fascinating. How did each of you become involved with Kids Included Together? I'd love to hear more about your own backgrounds and your journey for getting here. Kat, you want to lead us off?
Sure. So I got my start with the YMCA. I was an after-school summer camp and team director. And during my 5 years running those programs, I noticed that when we had youth with disabilities or additional needs coming through our doors and participating in our programs, it led to stronger programs. But also the stories I kept hearing is, you are the only program that will take my child,
yeah.
or this is the only place I ever felt wanted and that you value me. And that really took me on, I think, a different path from general recreation. So I went back, got a master's degree in recreation administration with a focus on therapeutic recreation. And I thought I'd just go back and run my after school and summer camp programs better, but was recruited to start doing inclusion training and technical assistance. And so I've been doing that one way or another with a couple different organizations, but I've been with KIT for 6 years now. And as partnership director, I oversee our national partnership with Boys and Girls Club of America and also with the National After School Association.
Right, yeah.
So we work with national organizations, and then we work with all sorts of different kinds. We work with the San Diego Zoo. We are supporting many programs all over the island of Martha's Vineyard. So we love to support any organization that serves youth. And that's me in a nutshell. Let me pass it to Vivi, because I'm sure you'd like to hear her story too.
Love it. Yeah.
Thank you. So it's a little similar to Kat, where there was a need that I saw, but I was a very young director, leader in a large out-of-school time program in San Diego. And so we were facing some particular challenges, and the staff and I really ranged in experience, and I also had a multi-generational staff, and so I was pretty new to very organized youth development. And so we really started to struggle with challenges with really behavior, but then we also started to see that there were some disabilities that we felt that we weren't prepared to really support. And so I started really seeking. It started from that place of curiosity, seeking. And so I went up to my leadership, and, one way or another, we found KIT. And so what I did is I started attending trainings around that time. We actually affiliated, my former organization affiliated with KIT. And so they started to do trainings with us. And I guess I sort of became a kid groupie because I was like in all of their trainings, and when they had a conference, I wrote extensive letters to my leadership justifying why my whole staff should come. And so really that's really where we started taking the knowledge to take things back, put those strategies in place, and it just truly made an impact in my staff and in the youth and the families and the relationship that we even formed with the school. And so with kids support, I was able to create with my staff a modeled inclusive site. It took some time. I'm not going to tell you that I went over time. I mean that it was easy, but it was just truly made that impact. And we did have families and youth, moving to the school because they had heard that, the program at Lee was just amazing. And so fast forward, after sitting in one of those kid trainings, our CEO now, Tori, asked me to be a trainer. And so I actually started working with Kit as a contract trainer doing the 4 core modules in Spanish. So I had a small grant, and I did our 4 core in Spanish, which is the introduction to inclusion, partnering with families, respectful accommodations, and behavior support techniques. Pathways to behavior. Right. And so we really, really focused on that, and just fast forward, I've been able to be part of KIT full-time 8 years now. I formerly led a lot of the education and coordination as an affiliate coordinator in San Diego, in Imperial counties, and now I get to work with CAT and do this work nationally and support communities all over the country. So it's been amazing to be part of the journey with KIT and kind of grow and just really see the impact that other communities are making. So it's been amazing.
Awesome. What a journey. And we are excited that you're going to be our keynote speaker at our conference. We're really looking forward to that. I've heard great things from other networks that have had you do that. So we're excited to have you do that, Viviana.
Awesome. I'm pretty excited too. It's a great honor to get to share a little bit of my piece, a little bit of my journey, and just it's amazing. And thank you for that opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
Sure. Yeah. OAN was promoting, Kit was doing some webinars, some free webinars, and the network was helping promote that through our social media platform. But I'm wondering, what other types of services do you guys do besides webinars? I know you have a whole catalog of services you provide, right?
Yeah, so we approach teaching inclusive practices in a blended learning approach. So we say that we support individuals and organizations online, on-site, and ongoing. So online, we have our KIT Online Learning Center, where we do monthly new live webinars. We have dozens of archived webinars, downloadable tools and tip sheets, self-paced e-learning modules, and also a brand new series of micro-learning videos. So if you want to do a deeper dive into a topic, whether it's a specific disability or a specific behavior issue, you can type in the keyword and then see a slew of different learning opportunities. Mm-hmm. Another way that we provide support is boots on the ground. And we go to many conferences every year and do our workshops. They're 2 hours in length, but we also have a series of 50-minute workshops. And we can do that not just in a conference setting, but also we can go to specific organizations. So a YMCA might bring us in for a professional development day, or a Boys and Girls Club would bring us in to not only do training, but have us do some observations and evaluation while programs are going on. So we see the interactions between the youth and the staff. We see how everyone's using the spaces, how the activities are working out. And then we do coaching and feedback with the staff that we observe and give